And 2 nights since he brought her here, without saying a word. Her eyes slowly lifted toward him. The gunslinger stood near the door, motionless, like a shadow carved into the wall, hat low, face hidden, watching, always watching. "You haven't slept," she said softly. No response. "You saved my life," she added, her voice shaking slightly. "At least tell me your name." Silence. Again. She looked down, her jaw tightening. "Or do you just appear and disappear like nothing matters?" That made him move. Just slightly. Enough for her to notice. But still, no answer. The distance between them remained. Heavy. Unspoken. Then, a sound, faint, but real. Thump, thump, thump. Her eyes snapped toward the window. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. This time, he reacted instantly. His head turned, body alert, hand slowly moving toward his gun. The air changed. That calm silence, gone, replaced with something darker, something coming. The sound came again. Closer, hoofbeats. Her breath stopped. "No." She shook her head slowly. "No, they're gone. We saw them. They're dead." But deep down, she knew. He walked toward the window, slowly, carefully, just enough to peek through the torn curtain, nothing, just darkness. But his eyes didn't relax. "They're here," he said. Her heart dropped. "Who?" she asked, even though she already knew the answer. He didn't look back this time. "The ones who didn't fall." The cup slipped from her hand. Metal hit the ground. Clang. Outside. The hoofbeat stopped. Complete silence. That was worse. Way worse. Because now, they weren't riding. They were watching. Her voice broke. "How many—" A pause, then, "Enough." Fear wrapped around her like chains. "They came for me," she whispered. "No," he said quietly. A long pause. Then he turned slightly toward her. "For what you saw." Her mind raced. The saloon, the men, the faces, the things she wasn't supposed to witness. Her breathing became shallow. "They won't leave me alive, will they?" He didn't answer. And that was the answer. Then, a shadow passed by the window. Fast, close. She gasped and stepped back. "They're here," she whispered. Outside, a voice echoed in the dark. Low, cold, dangerous. "You should have stayed dead." The gunslinger's grip tightened around his revolver. His stance changed. No hesitation now. Only war. He stepped forward, placing himself between her and the door. "Stay behind me." Her voice trembled. "What are you going to do?" A pause. Then, the coldest answer yet. "End what I started." Outside, guns clicked. Boots stepped closer. Death surrounded the house, and inside, the silence before chaos began. They didn't rush in. They surrounded them. The silence outside was no longer empty. It was controlled, calculated, deadly. Inside the farmhouse, her breathing had become uneven. Every small sound felt louder now, the creaking wood, the flickering lantern, even her own heartbeat. "They're waiting," she whispered. The gunslinger didn't respond. He was listening, counting, tracking movement without seeing it. Boots stepped softly outside, slow, careful, like predators circling wounded prey. "They're not scared of you," she said, her voice trembling. A pause. Then, "They should be." That calmness, it didn't feel normal. It felt dangerous. A shadow passed the window again, this time slower. Watching, hunting, her fingers curled into fists. "Why me? What did I even do?" The gunslinger finally turned slightly. "You saw their faces," he said. "That's enough." Her stomach dropped. "So they'll just kill me?" No answer. But she already knew. Outside, a man's voice broke the silence. "You got nowhere to run." Another voice followed. Walk out, and we might make it quick. Laughter. Cold. Cruel. She stepped back, shaking her head. I can't go out there. You won't, the gunslinger said. Firm. Certain. Then, a loud thud hit the side of the house. Thud. She flinched. Another one. Thud. They're testing us, he muttered. More footsteps. Closer now. They're not coming in, she realized. They're forcing you to come out. Yeah. A trap. A slow one. The gunslinger moved toward the table, grabbing extra bullets. Calm. Precise. Like he'd done this 100 times before. Stay low, he said. What about you? I step out. They show themselves. Her eyes widened. No, that's what they want. He looked at her, for real this time, and for a split second, she saw it. Not fear. Not doubt. Just inevitability. If I don't, he said quietly, they burn the house. Her breath caught. Right on cue. A bottle smashed outside. Glass shattered. Liquid spread across the wooden walls. The smell hit instantly. Oil. Her eyes filled with panic. No, they wouldn't. A match struck outside. Shh. Firelight flickered through the cracks. They would, he said. Silence fell between them. Heavy. Final. She stepped closer to him. You'll die out there. Another pause, then, maybe. That word hit harder than anything else. Her voice broke. Then why are you doing this? He adjusted his hat slightly, turning toward the door. One man changes everything. He repeated it. But this time, it sounded like a promise. Outside, flames began to rise. The walls started to glow orange. Smoke crept in. Time was over. He reached for the door, grip tight, gun ready, and just before stepping out, he said one last thing. When they move. A pause. Then, I end it. The door opened, and hell stepped in. When he stepped out, they made their biggest mistake. The door creaked open. Firelight exploded across the gunslinger's coat as he stepped outside. For a split second, everything froze. The outlaws weren't expecting him to walk out. Not like this, not alone, not calm. One of them smirked. Look at that. He came out to die. Another raised his gun. End him. That was their mistake. The gunslinger moved first. Bang. The closest outlaw dropped instantly, shot clean through the chest. Before the body hit the ground. Bang. Second man down. Panic broke the formation. Move! Move! Gunfire erupted from every direction. Bullets ripped through the air. Wood splintered. Fire crackled louder as chaos took over. But the gunslinger, he didn't rush. He didn't panic. He calculated. Every step precise, every shot deliberate. He shifted to the side, using the burning wall as cover. Firelight flickered across his shadowed face as another outlaw charged. Bang. Gone. Inside the farmhouse, she dropped to her knees, covering her ears as the sound of gunfire shook everything around her. Please, she whispered, tears falling again. Don't die. Outside. The fight intensified. More riders dismounted, surrounding him from different angles. Too many, even for him. A bullet grazed his arm. Blood. First real hit. But he didn't stop. Didn't even react. Instead, he turned and fired upward. Bang. A hidden shooter on a nearby rock dropped instantly. They weren't amateurs. They were organized, smart, and now, angry. Take him together, someone shouted. 3 men rushed at once. The gunslinger stepped back. Timed it, waited, then bang, bang, bang. All 3 fell before reaching him. Silence hit for half a second. Heavy breathing, smoke rising, fire spreading. But it wasn't over, not even close. From the darkness behind the riders, a new figure stepped forward. Slow, confident, different, not like the others. The remaining outlaws stepped aside, respectfully, fearfully. The gunslinger noticed immediately. His stance changed. Slightly, carefully, because this one was not like the rest. The man spoke, low, cold. "You killed my men." The gunslinger didn't reply, didn't move, didn't blink. The man stepped closer into the firelight. Scarred face, sharp eyes, a presence that felt heavier than the rest. Leader. Finally. "And now," the man continued, slowly pulling his revolver, "you answer to me." The flames roared louder behind them. The air tightened. Even the wind seemed to stop. 2 men. 1 moment. Everything about to decide. Inside the house? She slowly lifted her head, listening, waiting, praying. Outside. The gunslinger adjusted his grip, and for the first time, he spoke. "Should have stayed in the dark," the leader smirked. "Should have stayed out of my business." A pause, a breath. Then, both moved. Bang. And the night shattered again. This time when they realized who they were fighting. The gunshot echoed across the burning field. Bang. For a split second, neither of them moved. Then, the leader staggered back. A bullet had torn through his shoulder. Not fatal, but enough. Enough to wipe that smirk off his face. His men froze. Shock spread through the group. No one expected that. No one. The gunslinger lowered his revolver slightly. Not relaxed, not careless. Just controlled. The leader clenched his teeth, gripping his wound. Blood soaked into his coat as his breathing grew heavier. "You," he growled. "You think that's enough to stop me?" No answer. The gunslinger stepped forward. 1 step. Slow, heavy. Fire crackled behind him, casting long shadows across the ground. Smoke curled through the air, wrapping around both men like something alive. "You're not just a drifter," the leader said, narrowing his eyes. "I've seen men like you." Another step forward. "You kill without fear." Another. "But even men like you bleed." Silence. Then, the gunslinger finally spoke. Only once. That line hit differently. Even the outlaws felt it. The leader laughed, but it wasn't confident anymore. It was forced. Angry. "You walk into my land, kill my men, and think you leave alive?" The gunslinger stopped. Now they were close. Too close. "Walk away," the gunslinger said quietly. A long pause. The leader blinked, then laughed harder. "Walk away?" he repeated. "After all this?" His expression twisted. "You don't get to decide that." His grip tightened on his revolver. Blood still dripping. Pain ignored. Rage growing. Behind him, the remaining outlaws shifted nervously. Something had changed. They could feel it. Their leader wasn't in control anymore. The moment had slipped, and they knew it. The gunslinger tilted his head slightly. Last chance. Cold. Final. No emotion. The leader's eyes burned with fury. "Kill him!" he shouted. But this time, no one moved. Silence. Even his own men hesitated. That hesitation? It was everything. The gunslinger moved. Faster than before, cleaner, deadlier. Bang. 1 outlaw dropped. Bang. Another. Panic exploded through the group. "Run! Fall back!" They broke. Completely. The fear finally won. Men turned and fled into the darkness, leaving their leader behind. Alone. The flames roared louder now, lighting up the entire scene. The leader stood there, breathing heavily, eyes wide. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this. Not to him. The gunslinger walked closer. Slow. Unstoppable. "You lost," he said. The leader raised his gun one last time. Desperate. Shaking. Bang. The shot rang out. But it missed. The gunslinger didn't. Bang. The leader's body froze, then collapsed to the ground, gun slipping from his hand. Silence returned. Only fire. Only smoke. Only the sound of something ending. The gunslinger stood there for a moment. Still. Unmoving. Then slowly, he turned back toward the farmhouse, because this wasn't over yet. Legends don't stay, they disappear. The fire had begun to die. What was once a roaring inferno was now nothing but flickering flames and drifting smoke. The farmhouse stood broken, half-burnt, half-standing, like a witness to everything that had just happened. The night had grown quiet again. Too quiet. The gunslinger walked slowly through the aftermath. Bodies scattered, footprints fading into dust. The wind carried the scent of ash and gunpowder. He didn't rush, didn't look back. Like this was just another night. Another job. Another ending. He stopped near the farmhouse door. It creaked slightly in the wind. Inside, silence. For a moment, he just stood there, then pushed it open. The door groaned as it moved. Inside, shadows filled the room. Broken furniture, burnt wood, a life, interrupted. Then, a soft sound, movement. The gunslinger's hand instantly rested on his revolver. Ready, always ready. But then, a small figure stepped out from behind a broken table. A child, no older than 10, covered in dust, eyes wide with fear, alive. The gunslinger froze, not from fear, from something else, something rare. The child looked up at him, voice trembling. Are they gone? Silence. For a second, he didn't answer. Then slowly, he nodded. Yes. The child's shoulders dropped. Relief. Pure, fragile relief. Tears formed, but didn't fall. Not yet. You came back, the child whispered. That line hit deeper than any bullet. The gunslinger looked away slightly, like he wasn't used to that, like he didn't want to feel that. I said I would, he replied. Simple, but heavy. The child stepped closer, carefully, still unsure. Are you staying? A pause, longer this time. The gunslinger glanced toward the doorway, toward the dark horizon beyond. The wind howled softly outside, freedom calling, or maybe escape. No, he said quietly. The child's expression fell slightly. But the gunslinger reached into his coat, pulled out a small pouch. Coins. Enough. More than enough. He placed it gently on the table. For a new start. The child looked at it, then back at him. Who are you? The child asked. That question lingered in the air. The gunslinger paused at the doorway, half in shadow, half in moonlight. For a moment, it seemed like he might answer, but instead, he stepped outside. The wind caught his coat as he walked away, into the darkness, into nothing. By the time the child reached the door, he was gone. No footsteps, no trace, just the quiet night and a story that would be told, again and again, not as truth, but as legend. A man who came from nowhere and left the same way.